What's crack-a-lackin'? We're going to see if we are live. Is it live? Is it real? Check it out. Oh, yeah. All right, so it looks like we're live. So same song and dance as the last time we did this. The call-in thing or whatever is pinned for anyone who's fucking retarded enough to want to fight me over any of this bullshit or whatever. Once again, the only caveat is you have to show your face because you got to put your money where your mouth is or your face where your mouth is or whatever. Complete disclosure, I've had some bourbon tonight, so expect a little bit more of a, I don't know, either spicy and saucy or just obnoxious and stupid out of me. I don't expect to get through the entire hour and 12 minutes of this. I'm only going to do this until I feel tired. I would like to go to bed tonight. So we have this guy. I've never heard of this guy, but he's got 77,000 subs, this Liberty Troll. 77,000 subs. And the guy is fucking retarded. Like, he doesn't know shit about fuck. And I have no idea. I have no idea how he's got 77,000 subs. Like, he starts this whole thing off with this little monologue, 4.5 minutes of monologue about how he doesn't know shit from fuck about this case. And he's got Phocion, who is apparently, this is a public service, Joshua Gray, who's here in the live chat to help me out if I don't know an answer. And he doesn't know a fucking answer. He doesn't know a goddamn thing about a goddamn thing. It's insane. It's insane. The extent that Lane Meyer supporters will go to find someone who will tell them what they want to hear to make them feel better about themselves so they can sleep at night. It's insane. Like Liberty Troll is who you've got to go to, and Jack Zwack or Jason Zwack or whoever the fuck Zwack is. Like, I mean, and Joshua Gray, who lost his criminal case about filming in an SSA lobby, who was dead right as he sped along filming in that SSA lobby. And yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to me. But let's listen to the cope and seethe, and we'll see if I have anything to comment or if I don't. I don't know. We're not going to play the 4.5 minutes of this turd burglar, but we'll start when the call starts.
Thank you for using GTL.
Hello?
Lane.
What's up, brother?
Hey, it's good to meet you. My name's Zach. I've heard a lot about
you too.
Likewise, man. I'm so sorry about everything you've gone through. I know you have an hour. So
it'll probably just be a little bit under that because like it takes a few minutes for you to connect and all that shit. We got about 53 minutes.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, before I give you the floor here completely, just wanted to say that, I haven't been following your case as closely as other individuals that you've spoken to before, but I followed enough.
So now that I know that we're on a time frame, that we're on a time schedule, we only have 53 minutes, and knowing Lane Myers, he's going to bloviate, like he's just going to stream of consciousness, ramble a single sentence through the entire 53 minutes. Now that we've established that, I'm going to give my little opener because I love the sound of my own voice, and I want to make sure that my own voice is permeating through this before you get to talk, because I guess, I don't know, just fucking retarded.
Enough to know that you do not deserve any of this, that you find yourself.
And look, this dude is so fucking full of himself that he's got not only himself on camera here on the main screen, but he also has himself on the lower screen because he's that fucking pretty or something to himself, whatever. I know this might be petty, but I've had bourbon, so you've got to give me a little bit of slack.
In this position that you find yourself in, being in jail, having your freedom taken away, having all these charges being racketeered against you. And I know that we can't.
Charges being racketeered against you? Like, what does that even mean? What does it mean to have a charge racketeered against you? A charge racketeered against you? What the fuck? This guy's like, this word sounds good. We'll just throw it in there. What the fuck? None of Lane Meyer's supporters are smart enough to know that I just said fucking nonsense. So I'm just gonna vomit up big words because everybody watching this stream is even stupider than I am. Oh, in fucking insane. Racketeering charges against you. Film at 11.
You know, with a certain individual, her name will go. We'll just say she who cannot be named, just to be on the safe side. And so, you know, anything you have pressing on your heart and mind. I know that you've had the opportunity to kind of explain how this all started and talking about different things that have happened and charges that you've had to face.
Oh shit, the cops are here. Everybody put your weed away or whatever.
But tell me a little bit about anything, you know, recent that, you know, maybe has not been consumed by the public yet. And if there is really not too much there, just share whatever.
Tell me anything that hasn't been consumed by the public yet, because I want the scoop, because I need to feed my 77,000 subs that I totally didn't pay for with my zero fucking personality, my zero good looks, my zero intellect, my zero even bothering to check into the facts. Just like fucking give me a scoop. I need it. It's got 2,306 views. All right. 2,306 views. That's a good video for me with my 6,500 subscribers. 2,300 views is a good video for me with my 6,300 subscribers. Let's see. Go to this. And then we'll go to content. So share this tab instead. Yeah. So like, so my video on June 1st, 8 minutes of really nothing other than a rooster crowing, got 1,666 views off of my 6,500-ish subs. And this motherfucker pulls 2,300 views on an exclusive jail call with Lane Myers and 77,000 subs. No, guys. He totally didn't buy his fucking subs. He totally didn't. It's completely organic. All right. It's completely fucking organic. This guy he's a parody of himself. Like, buy a jawline, motherfucker.
Whatever's on your heart and mind, man. Go ahead. I'm giving you the floor.
Okay. You can feel free to ask questions too. Everything on interviews are like hit me with, ask me anything basically, you know. And
Lane Meyer's like, and you could ask me questions too. And this Liberty Troll guy's like, oh shit, I didn't know there was gonna be a test. I didn't know it was gonna be a pop quiz on this motherfucker. I don't know shit about fuck. God damn, dude. Look at him. He's like, oh shit, I'm sweating now.
so did you get a chance to hear the last court date?
I know it's about 60 days out, right?
Oh, wait, what? Oh, nice try.
No, the next, like last week or whatever.
Oh, I listened to some of it. I'm not too familiar, so forgive me.
I listened to some of it. It's like, bro, so people are like, John, you know, you don't do any background. You don't research all the 5 million hours of Lane Myers videos before you comment on the facts and the law. Well, you know what I do? I have a grasp of the law, and I have a grasp of the facts as pled. So like putting myself basically in the judge's seat, I have a basic understanding of what the fuck's going on. This guy's like, I didn't even bother to watch the fucking videos. I didn't bother to watch the last hearing. Like, you don't even have to do anything, dude. Just like fucking pop some popcorn, sit down in your overstuffed chair and just like listen. That's all you got to do. You don't have to Google anything. You don't have to have any education to know how to Google to see what the laws are and what the cases are and what relevant things to research. You just got to sit there with a fucking bag of popcorn, bro. And he can't even do that. Useless.
If I don't have it all retained, but go ahead. Just tell me what about that.
I don't have it all retained. You didn't watch the goddamn video. You don't know shit about fuck, dude. You don't know shit about fuck.
That court case happened.
They wouldn't let me plead guilty?
Yeah, I did hear that. They're denying all of your.
So, by the way, folks, this is not a family-friendly stream. I might be a little spicy with my language tonight. I have had bourbon once again. I might even get naked. You never know. I'm going to back up a little bit though, because I think stupidity was just said by this Liberty Troll guy.
But go ahead, just tell me what about that court case that happened. I know it's about 60 days out, right?
No, the next, like last week or whatever.
Oh, I listened to some of it. I'm not too familiar, so forgive me if I don't have it all retained. But go ahead, just tell me what about that court case that happened.
They wouldn't let me plead guilty?
Yeah, I did hear that they're denying all of your motions.
They wouldn't let me plead guilty. Oh yeah, I hear they denied all your motions. Well, yes, they did deny all your motions. They did. Not a single fucking motion from our legal genius, Lane Myers, has snuck its way through. But you didn't hear about them not allowing him to plead guilty. And just remember, all you Lane Myers sycophants, they didn't allow him to plead guilty. Lane Myers is saying they didn't allow him to plead guilty. He didn't say, "Oh, I have some fucking genius plan on an Alford plea that will somehow turn into me pleading innocent, but still being allowed to plead guilty." Nothing like that. They didn't allow me to plead guilty. They didn't allow me to plead guilty, as in I wanted to plead guilty. I tried to plead guilty. I made my best effort to plead guilty, and they didn't allow me to plead guilty. How fucking pathetic. Imagine being so fucking pathetic. Such a legal goddamn genius that when tasked with pleading guilty, something that criminals do daily all across the country, thousands or maybe even tens of thousands of people manage to fucking plead guilty, and Lane Myers cocks it up. He's so fucking inept. He's so useless. He's so stupid. He's so ignorant. He's so unskilled. He's so pathetic. He can't even fucking manage to plead guilty. Nobody's like, yeah, that's pretty fun. That's a really low bar. That's a really low bar. Dudes with like 80 IQs are pleading guilty successfully, and Lane Myers can't. No one? All right. I guess it's just me.
What about that court case that happened?
They wouldn't let me plead guilty?
Yeah, I did hear that they're denying all of your motions.
I'm gonna slow this down. I want you guys to hear in real time, not sped up.
That court case that happened.
They wouldn't let me plead guilty?
They wouldn't let me plead guilty. Lane Myers, legal genius, can't fucking manage to plead guilty. Damn it.
Yeah, I did hear that they're denying all of your motions as far as getting another judge or allowing you to post bail.
Yeah, they won't. It's completely biased against me. They won't allow me to have a hearing, because when you get transferred to a new court, you're supposed to have a hearing, or you can request a hearing. So I've been requesting a hearing to try to get bail since April 4th.
They're supposed to give you a building, or you're supposed to be able to ask for a hearing. They're supposed to give you a hearing, or you're supposed to be able to ask for a hearing. Well, yeah, you've asked for a hearing, but obviously, time is linear. So you asked for the hearing through your prior counsel, or you joined, I guess, in his motion, and then you fired your counsel and asked your counsel to withdraw the motion. And so he did. And so it was no longer pending in front of the judge. Imagine that. You didn't get a hearing after your motion for hearing was withdrawn. Fucking crazy. Who would have thunk it? It must be a giant fucking conspiracy. 4D chess, I guess. I don't know. So it's a giant conspiracy why you didn't get it. And then you demanded it. And then he set it for hearing. And then you immediately challenged him, the judge, for cause. And then you're wondering why you didn't get a hearing. Dude, you step on your own dick every fucking time you step on your own dick. I mean, like for the slap motion, which you lost, you didn't have a fucking argument. You didn't have anything going for you on the slap motion. For the First Amendment motion, I mean, that was an interesting motion. I got to say, that was an interesting motion. It was doomed to failure because on the written motion, what you were essentially saying was that by the state taking away the intent portion, but leaving the knowingly, they took away the intentionally portion, but left the knowingly portion, which is a lower bar, that somehow it changed everything, and it didn't. So, that was a pretty much doomed to failure. And honestly, the bond hearing, the no bond hearing, is also going to be doomed to failure. But, but like whenever possible, let's just say this, whenever possible, whenever given the opportunity, Lane Myers will step on his own dick. It is just, oh my God, his fucking fans, like they are the dumbest motherfuckers. When they get up into my comments, like they know what the fuck they're talking about, and oh, it's just hilarious. Like I just sit and laugh and laugh and laugh. They're a joy, and then they're like, I guess they get mad at me or something. They must use spicy language because I don't delete their comments. I find them fucking hilarious, but apparently YouTube isn't letting some of their comments through. And they're like, you're deleting comments. I'm like, bro, no, I'm enjoying this way too much to delete any of your comments. One guy was like, you keep hiding me under new comments or something like that. Test? What, do you go on testosterone to fix that fucking low libido or something? Anyway, like how would you even hide someone's comments under the new comment tab? What does that even mean? I don't even understand what the fuck he's talking about. Okay, so allegedly, and take this with a giant grain of salt, because this JJWA guy is the one who is saying this, and I have zero confirmation of who or what the fuck he is. You know, normally, like with that cop guy, go behind the blue line, whatever. Like that guy, I verified him. I know who he is. He's a cop. This guy, this JJWA guy, I can't verify him because he won't verify with me, even though I don't tell anybody who the fuck anybody is. So this is coming from him. So huge grain of salt. This might be pure bullshit. And my default position is that it is pure bullshit until I can verify any of the information. But he says that Lane's lady, who's not his wife, was fired from her position as a law clerk, which you have to be an attorney to be a law clerk, because she was in fact helping Lane Myers. So, you know, again, take it with a huge grain of salt. She may not be helping him now. She might have, whatever, you know, she might still be helping him now. There was one motion that I saw that looked like an attorney wrote it. I remember commenting it looked like an attorney wrote it. And so that might have had her hand in it. But it was the kind of motion that was written by an attorney who hadn't really done any law practice, like any like actual in the trenches writing motions. So that could have been her, or it could have been Chat GPT. Another attorney that I do work for has a client who likes to use Chat GPT to make motions that they're like oddly weird. You're like, this looks almost right, but there's something not right about it. And she emailed a couple over, and finally we got her in for a meeting, and he was like, you know, what attorney's writing this? And I'm like, whoever that attorney is needs to be fucking fired. And she's like, oh, it's Chat GPT. And I'm like, oh wow, like that explains why it's close. It's using all the right language in almost the right way, but it's missing basic things. Anyway, we're off on a tangent. Back to the grind.
But they keep having a hearing to decide if we're going to give you a hearing. And then that was like for a couple weeks in April. And then a
hearing, decide if you get a hearing. Yep. That's what happens. Amazingly enough.
Fired the court-appointed attorney, became my own attorney in that case. And then I filed my own motion, and then the judge was, I got in an argument with the judge. So then I went to change judges, and he said, so then the bail motion got withheld until the whole judge thing got sorted out. So now I got to refile that, and hopefully.
It didn't get withheld. It got denied without prejudice. There's a difference between being withheld and being denied without prejudice.
They'll give me a hearing, but I'm not really too encouraging. I'm not too enthusiastic, or however you want to say it, optimistic. At this point, I pretty much resigned myself to this is what it is.
Yeah, it's going to be what it is. I mean, unless you get a nice, sweet plea deal again, and God help you, please, for the love of God, if you get another sweet ass plea deal where you're only pleading to 2 felonies, take it, you stupid fuck. Take it and run. You filmed yourself committing crimes. Your videos are going to damn you, and you're too fucking stupid to realize it. Actually, I think maybe at this point you are realizing it now because it sounds like you're figuring it out.
Probably never see my wife again or my dog or my family or, because if you haven't committed any crimes and you're in here with no bond,
Well, I mean, there are people who have been held without bond for not having committed a crime, but that's pretty rare. I mean, technically they only need probable cause to get you on the first batch, and then proof, evident, presumption, great to hold you on the second batch without bond. So, in theory, you could be innocent and still in jail, but you filmed yourself. You literally recorded your crimes. I mean, there is no easier case for a prosecutor than when the stupid fucking guy records himself. You recorded yourself, you stupid fuck.
who steps in? Who says this isn't right?
Well, so what you could do is you could file a habeas motion with the federal district court for Arizona. Now, it'll lose on the younger abstention doctrine and some other doctrines too. But yeah, Lane's wife is an attorney. Is someone saying that Lane's wife is not an attorney? Hold on a second. She isn't. She is an attorney. She is an attorney. Yeah, I've verified it. She's an attorney. Well, you can go digging up. You can go digging up her it on your own. I'm not here to dox her or anything like that. So I mean, her shit's out there. So good luck.
If the prosecutor can just put charges on you and you can't challenge them until the jury, you're at the
Yeah, see, that's the way the system works, Lane. When the prosecutor quote puts charges on you, that means that with felonies, a grand jury has returned a true bill, which means that the grand jury has agreed with the prosecutor that the charges are correct, and then you go in front of the judge and you get arraigned, and then you can do any challenges like you've done with your slap motion and your First Amendment challenge and your motions to dismiss certain charges as being redundant or duplicative. You could do all those things. Those are all ways of getting rid of the charges. But if those fail, like for you, they failed because you're fucking retarded and you recorded yourself committing the crimes, and it's pretty fucking blatant that you've actually committed the crimes. In those cases, yeah, you kind of got to wait till trial. Once all of your motions fail, you kind of got to wait till trial. That's when the shit gets figured out. That's when the cake is baked, as it were. Like what do you expect? Like, what do you think a trial is for? What happens? Well, there's a trial at the end. Why aren't they figuring shit out ahead of time? Well, because it's at the trial. All of this shit is just the groundwork to get you to trial, dude. Like, you fucking legal genius.
the mercy of just sitting in jail until you go to the trial. And then at the trial, you never know what'll happen. And then if you get found guilty, you got to go to prison and appeal, and it's like 40 years in prison. I'm 43, so it'll be like in my 80s,
That's pretty hard. Lane is already figuring out that he's fucked. That sound right there, Lane saying he's going to get like 40 years in prison, is Lane saying, not only am I going to get convicted, but at the sentencing phase, because I have not been remorseful, because I have not apologized, because I have prior felonies, because I have all these aggravating circumstances, and I don't have any mitigating circumstances. Because of that, I'm looking at 43 years. That's sad.
And, all for exposing a government employee for breaking the law. Like, whether she should be in trouble, neither of us should be. It should be like, okay, well, you won't get in trouble for what you did, and I shouldn't get in trouble for exposing it. But instead,
what did she do? What did she do? She didn't do anything. What did she do? She married the wrong guy? Like, is that what she's supposed to be getting in trouble for?
they're they're not getting in trouble for what they did, and I'm getting in trouble for exposing it, which isn't equal protection. This is
Equal protection? Like what? You not wearing a condom right now? Again, like okay, let's just arguendo. Let's just say that everybody was clapping and that Lane Myers booed. I haven't watched the video, but arguendo, let's just say that happened. And let's say that Lane Myers was unfairly singled out for a statute that should have been not applied in the way it was applied. Let's just say there's a bunny like right like 3 feet away from me. There's like bunnies everywhere. Man, once you don't have a young fast dog anymore, boy, the bunnies just come out. So let's just pretend. Let's just, for argument's sake, let's just pretend that the city prosecutor, the Tucson city prosecutor, is a terrible person who did terrible things. Well, what is your remedy, Lane? Your remedy is to have the case dismissed. Oh, was the case dismissed? Congratulations, done. Life isn't fair. You don't necessarily get more than just having your case dismissed. Like, I get it. It sucks. It's not fair that the state can prosecute you and cost you all this money and cost you all this time, and then all you get is your case dismissed. But that's the way the system works. If you don't like the system, how about you petition your congressman or whatever to change it? But that's the way the system works.
isn't what you read about in the United States. Somehow I got 20 charges, and it's because other people called and emailed her. Now, I did call and leave her a voice.
Yeah, it's because other people called an email. So again, like, I don't know why he doesn't fucking understand this. This is so basic. But for Lane Myers laying out all the background information, putting out her phone number, vilifying her, but for that, these other fucking idiots wouldn't have called her. But for that, they wouldn't have called her. But for that, they wouldn't have called her. I don't understand why he can't figure that out. Like, no one thinks that Lane Myers is the one who called. Everybody knows other people called. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows it was a government-issued phone number. No one is contesting that. Everybody knows it was up publicly available. Everybody knows that. No one is contesting it. The thing that stupid people like Lane Myers and his supporters don't get is that the prosecutor can draw a line from Lane Myers laying the groundwork in the videos of she's a bad person and you need to call her to get your grievances redressed because she married the prosecutor in a case against me. They could draw a straight line from that to the phone calls. Like, that's what the stupid people don't get. It's not like if Lane Myers hadn't laid the groundwork, if Lane Myers hadn't posted it, if these calls just appeared out of nowhere, Lane Myers wouldn't be getting in any trouble over it. But he did the videos. He encouraged his followers to call her by giving them easy access to the phone number, by saying she's a terrible person, by setting everything up. Like, I don't understand why people don't get that. I don't understand why Lane Myers doesn't get that. Like, I have heard nothing but idiots in my comment section telling me, oh, he only called her one time. Well, yeah, no one's contesting that. 0 people are contesting it. And that phone call by itself, if there was nothing else, probably wouldn't constitute harassment under the statute. Except it's not by itself because Lane Myers took other steps. So because he took other steps, now it's part of a pattern. If it wasn't part of a pattern, one of the elements of harassment wouldn't be met. It wouldn't be harassment. But since it's part of a pattern, now it's harassment because it meets all of the elements. I'm drunk and I can figure this out. Like, how can people not? Like, how fucking stupid do you have to be to not be able to figure this shit out?
But that led to an injunction. That if you read any case law, there should never have been an injunction. The injunction should.
Why should there have never been an injunction? I read the case law, and this, what you did met the definition for civil harassment. What you did met the definition for civil harassment. There's zero case. You presented no cases at your civil harassment trial to suggest that it should not have been. You had the one case he had was where a guy overheard someone else talking shit about him behind his back. And the problem with that one was it wasn't directed at the harassment victim. He was just talking shit behind the dude's back. That's not harassment. It has to be directed at the victim. So the phone call was directed at the victim. It was only one. Yeah, I get it. It was only one. Lane Myers called her one time. Congratulations. It was directed at the victim. Him showing up at the law school, that was directed at the victim. He went there to see her. Directed at the victim. The videos he made with her phone number, talking about her, saying she's a bad person, got people to call. It was directed at her because it got people to call her and leave negative messages. They're directed at her. The case he had, nothing was directed at the dude.
Have never been granted. No court in this planet, especially in Arizona, can issue an injunction that says you can't post about a government employee on social media. And then
cite a case that says that. Cite a case that says that. One case. If you had cited a single case that says that, well, you wouldn't be in jail right now, would you? But you are, because you haven't cited a single case that says that. Saying that there are cases out there that say that, saying that no court could find that, is completely different than actually showing a fucking single citation that says that they can't do that. Because courts aren't very mysterious. Like, courts make mistakes, yes, I get it, but courts aren't really super mysterious. If a higher court says you can't do this, and you're in front of the court and you say, "Oh, this higher court says that this higher court says you can't do it," well, then that trial court's gonna be like, "We can't do it. We can't do it. We're not going to do it." Game over. Problem solved. But Lane couldn't do it. Lane still can't do it. Lane has been completely unable to do it the entire time in civil and in criminal harassment court. So when is this intrepid reporter going to be like, "Hey, what case? What case? You're saying there's a case. Name the case. Name the case."
And so once they put that injunction on me and I post it anyways, those all become felonies. But it's not even supposed to be, because it's supposed to be that if you violate an injunction, it's only a misdemeanor. But
it's supposed to be that if you violated an injunction, it's only a misdemeanor, except that the charge you were charged under is a harassment charge. It's an aggravated harassment charge. It says specifically, if there is already an injunction against harassment against you and you harass the person, that's a felony. Like, that's in the statute. That's in the statute. What is that? 13. What is it? 2921A. Fucking ARS 13-2921A. 2921.01. I was close. I was fucking close. I'm drunk. Give me some slack. Aggravated harassment. If he commits harassment as defined in section 13-2921, and at the time of the offense, one of the following applies. An order of protection was issued. No, it's actually this one. Order of harassment, 12-1809. Well, guess what? Lane Myers had an injunction against harassment issued pursuant to section 12-1809. And then while he had that, he committed harassment as defined in section 13-2921. So the fucking statute says specifically that a person who violates subsection A, paragraph 1, 2, or 4 is guilty of a class 6 felony. Well, this is paragraph 1. So if he violated it, he's guilty of a class 6 felony. Like, See, so Lucas, let's stop and consider it. I understand the argument that was made. The argument that was made is that she got a injunction against harassment, ex parte injunction against harassment. She dismissed it and filed a new one. Well, I haven't read the transcript, but this is a court of equity. Now, I know that you're fucking retarded and you're not going to understand what a court of equity means. But in the United States court system, there's two kinds of courts. There's courts of law and courts of equity. A court of law gives you money, dollars. A court of equity gives you things besides dollars, right? And an injunction is an equitable remedy. It's an equitable remedy. And a court acting in equity can do things that are equitable, i.e., they can do things that kind of make things seem fair. Now, in California, I know that if you fuck up on an injunction, right? If you fuck up on an injunction, there are statutes like California Code of Civil Procedure 473B that allows you to set it aside. There's also motions for reconsideration. There are also various other things that allow you to basically set aside a judgment and get a new one, right? So a court sitting in equity can say, look, what you did was technically incorrect. Technically incorrect. And I'm giving Lane the benefit of the doubt here. I'm giving Lane the absolute benefit of the doubt that it was technically incorrect because I don't know and I don't really care. But a court looked at it, and so I'm just gonna guess that the court knows what the fuck it's doing, right? But let's just pretend that it was incorrect. But what the court can say is like, look, technically what you did was incorrect, but I'm going to construe this as being a motion for reconsideration or a motion to set aside a judgment due to negligence, mistake, or something along those lines, right? A court can do that in equity and issue a new judgment. So there you go. It's illegal. Sure. Let's just pretend you're correct. Show me the court that said that what she did was illegal. That's all you have to do, Lucas. That's all you have to do. Show me the court that said it's illegal, Lucas, and I will grant it to you. I will grant it to you. Just citation. Show me the court that said it's illegal. So my bias is that this case that I'm looking at, which is the criminal harassment, is self-contained. Just like the trial was self-contained. The trial on the injunction against harassment was self-contained. Now, if Lane Myers had a good case that the ex parte injunction was obtained illegally, as the retards like to say, fucking idiot, it was obtained illegally. There's a statute against it in the penal code. It's illegal. It was obtained illegally. Well, Lane should have fucking argued that in front of the judge. In fact, he may have, if I remember correctly, he might have said something along those lines. And the court was like, you know what? You're fucking retarded. And I think you're a liar. And I'm just going to ignore this. That's so weird. That's so weird that the judge in the civil harassment, the injunction against harassment, was like, no, you're fucking wrong, Lucas. That's what the judge said. You might not have heard it, but you know, you're fucking wrong. And now since I've watched the trial, now I'm just looking at the pleadings. Now, why hasn't Lane Myers successfully pled? Successfully being the operative word, Lucas, you fucking numbnuts. Why hasn't he pled? Because here's what I do, Lucas, just because you're a fun little punching bag, is I play the role of judge. And you're going to be like, well, you know, you're not a judge. No shit, dude. I'm not a judge. But what I do is I read the pleadings as if I were the judge, and I predict outcomes. And I've been pretty fucking successful. I'm just going to say that. I was pretty fucking successful with Chile. I was pretty fucking successful with just about everything I've looked at. Because this is what I do. Because I'm fucking having fun doing it. Right? So I look at it like a judge will look at it, because if you go and taint yourself by going through all the nonsense that you fucking retards go through, well, then you're not going to have an unbiased view. Naturally, you're going to become biased one way or the other by looking at all the quote evidence that hasn't been presented to the judge. But I'm looking at the evidence that has been presented to the judge, because that way I'm able to actually give a good prediction of how the judge will rule based on the evidence in front of the judge. I know that's hard for you to wrap your two synapses around, but that's the way it works, because the judge isn't going to watch all 5 million hours of Lane Myers videos. He's not going to do it. He's going to rely on what Lane Myers prudently, thoughtfully, carefully, and specifically places in front of the judge. That's what the judge is going to rely on. See, I've been explaining this. I've been explaining this to you, and you still don't fucking get it. That's the beauty of Lane Myers supporters. They're so fucking stupid. They're so fucking stupid that you could draw it in crayons and they still won't get it. You got to watch everything. Why? I've been predicting all of the outcomes of all the motions correctly without knowing fuck all on the backstory other than having watched the trial. And yet I've been successful. Explain that. Like, obviously, if I was just guessing, it'd be somewhere around 50-50, right? And yet I have nailed every single fucking outcome, except for the one time where Lane fucked himself by filing a new motion at the beginning of a trial. And so he didn't get what I thought he'd get, right? But when the judge actually has an opportunity to rule on the outcomes, then I'm pretty fucking good. I'm pretty fucking clairvoyant. I'm like, oh yeah, the side motion, that's going to fail. The First Amendment motion, it's a great motion. I liked it. It's going to fail. The motion for recusal, it's going to fail. Like, it's clearly going to fail. Like, I made a video on it specifically how it's going to fail, and it fucking failed. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy how I'm able to be accurate without knowing all the shit you know, Lucas, you stupid fucking twat? How I'm able to be accurate, and you're over here with your fucking dick in your hand, beating it to Lane Myers, saying, oh, please, God, for the love of God, will you please just give us one win? Maybe the jury will give it to us. You fucking tard. Anyway, let's get back to the phone call.
Somehow they're saying not only did I violate the injunction, they're saying that I committed a felony while doing it, which is just absolutely insane. And, you know, the only thing that's
yeah, you literally violated the injunction by committing harassment against the person who had a injunction against civil harassment against you, hitting every element of the goddamn statute. Like, it's not crazy. That's what the statute reads.
going to get me out of this is the jury at this point.
Yeah.
The jury, if somehow Lane Myers manages to get 12 Lucases into that jury box who've already watched all the backstory and have been tainted by everything that Lane Myers is too fucking incompetent to put in front of them, well, then maybe, yeah, he's got a chance. Except what they're actually going to be dealing with is a Lane Myers who is too fucking incompetent to manage to plead guilty when he tried to. This motherfucker tried to plead guilty and was unable to. He failed at pleading guilty. This is the bar, and he thinks he's going to go to trial. Like, he thinks he has a chance at trial. He fucking failed to plead guilty. He failed to convince a judge that he was actually pleading guilty when he was trying to plead guilty. But he's going to convince a jury that he's not innocent when he's trying to show them that he's not guilty. Good fucking luck. I can't wait to watch it.
That's, and on top of that, you know, they're talking about the double standard, you know, between, like, you know, them getting in trouble for anything or being held accountable for anything, and then you're going through all this and you don't even deserve it.
Yeah, so a prosecutor, for example, getting in trouble for doing his job as a prosecutor is a completely different thing than Lane Myers harassing the wife of the prosecutor. They are two totally different things, which is why you get in trouble for one and you don't get in trouble for the other. the prosecutor is, by the nature of his job, going to lose some prosecutions. All the prosecutor has to have in order to start a prosecution is probable cause. Now, you may notice that there is a very huge gap between probable cause down here and beyond a reasonable doubt up here. But he only has to have probable cause to start the fucking prosecution. So he's going to lose some. And just because he loses some, just because he files charges on someone and then loses, doesn't mean he's a bad prosecutor. Literally every prosecutor is going to have losses. If they've been doing it for long enough, they'll have losses. It happens. Even the feds have like a 90, if they go to trial, they have like a 97 or 98% conviction rate, which means they lose 1 or 2 or 3%. It doesn't mean if they take your case to trial and they lose, it doesn't mean that they're a bad person, that they've done something wrong, that they've done something punishable. It's insanity.
They're able to get away with not filing things correctly, or tell us a little bit about that, things they've gotten away with misfiling or categorizing something.
So
this motherfucker has no idea what's been, quote, misfiled or whatever. No idea.
Yeah, she moved to the.
His questions are fucking terrible. Like, this guy's, like, I am shocked that this guy's getting 2,000 views. Shocked he's getting 2,000 views on a scoop video with Lane Myers. Shocked that he's getting 2,000 views. And watch his live chat. He's got it up on the fucking screen. I'm getting more live chats than this motherfucker is. And you know, I'm not monetized, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
The injunction. And so she went to a first judge. And the first judge,
let's try this.
A little bit about that, things they've gotten away with misfiling or categorizing something.
So she moved for the injunction. And so she went to a first judge. And the first judge, she said that, he left a voicemail. The first judge gave her the injunction, but said that, when she requested social media, that he can't talk about it on social media or post about me on social media, or he's got to remove all his stuff on social media. The judge said, I can't do that. It's his First Amendment protected interest. I can't do anything about social media. I can tell him that he can't contact you, like, on your personal phone number or on your, at your house and stuff like that, but I can't take away social media. So because that wasn't good enough.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know exactly what she's asking for, but they do have to be concerned about restrictions on speech going forward. And without having each video in front of the judge, like, the judge can review a video and be like, yeah, this video has to come down or whatever, or you have to edit the part out about the victim or whatever. So the judge can make specific orders, but remember, these would have to be narrowly tailored. And you can't, like, so I don't know exactly what she was asking for, but judge number one granted the injunction. Remember that. Judge number one granted the injunction. So not only was there a judge at trial who granted the injunction, but apparently there was not just one, but 2 judges who on an ex parte basis granted the injunction. So, I mean, how many times does Lane Myers have to lose before Lane Myers supporters will be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, so my understanding of the plea offer was it was available that day. And if he wasn't going to plead guilty and actually successfully plead guilty, then the prosecutor was going to retract it. And so, yeah, it's been retracted. Now, before anybody gets their hopes up, that doesn't mean that the prosecutor can't give the same offer, or that Lane Myers can't say, hey, if that offer is available, I will take it and I'll actually plead guilty and, do the steps. And he might still get it. I mean, I've been through enough negotiations with other attorneys that I know that just because they've withdrawn an offer or it's the last best and final offer or whatever, it doesn't always mean that it is what it is. So
the woman went back the next day, dismissed her own injunction, which at that point, once you dismiss something, it's dismissed. She dismissed.
Well, once you dismiss something, it's dismissed. Well, there's dismissal with prejudice or there's dismissal without prejudice. So that would be something. When you say once it's dismissed, it's dismissed. Well, yeah, that action is, but the cause of action may or may not be dead based on whether or not it was dismissed with or without prejudice. And at least in California, I have never had a judge accept a dismissal with prejudice of a domestic violence restraining order or a civil harassment restraining order. So in theory, I would guess that if she did dismiss it, it would be dismissed without prejudice. That would be the only way the judge would accept it. If Arizona is like California, once again, the caveat is I'm not an Arizona attorney, I'm a California attorney. So I'm watching all of this through a California attorney lens. Your mileage may vary. Talk to a local attorney.
And then she tried, well, she didn't try, she did. And then she took the same set of facts. She said, yesterday I got an injunction for this reason. Today I'm going to dismiss it, and now I'm asking for a new injunction for the same reason. Again, and the judge said, well, I can't do.
Oh, wait, the same set of facts? Hold on a second, Lucas. Hold on a second, Lucas. You stupid lying fucking twat waffle. You stupid lying twat waffle. Oh, you did say same facts. And then here he is. A single phone call isn't enough to reach harassment. No shit, dude. No shit. You should have watched the first part of the video. I thought he said that there was new facts. So my mistake. Mea culpa. My bad. I apologize, Lucas, for thinking you were that retarded. But yeah, it is the same set of facts, which seems completely rational that she would plead the same set of facts.
Do that. If you dismiss it, I can't give you an injunction for the same thing again.
But they did give her an injunction for the same thing again. And so why did they do that, Lane? Why did a judge do that? I know you think they can't do that, but why did the judge think they could? And what judge has subsequently said that they can't? Questions that I want answers to.
And the woman says, well, I was hoping you could make an exception for me, just for me or whatever, you know? And the judge hesitated and was like, well, I can't do that. And she was like, well, I was really hoping you could help me. You know, it's really a unique situation. And the judge gave it some more thought.
So this is the same Lane Myers who completely fucked up what the Judge Metcalf said when he prepared and filed his motion for recusal relatively recently to the statements that he alleged that Judge Metcalf made. And after reviewing the transcript, a judge found that Judge Metcalf had not made those. Those statements were not present. So this is the same Lane Myers who's recounting things that he read months ago, maybe 2024, maybe 2025, who knows? It's what are you talking about on the record? This is what I don't understand. When Lane Myers goes to trial, well, first of all, let's start off with this, Brainiac. Anything you say can be used against you. That doesn't mean that anything you say can be used for you. Lane Myers talking, saying shit does nothing. Period. Anywhere, anytime, no way, no how. At trial, when the finders of facts are present, Lane Myers saying, I did this for this reason, or I didn't do this, or whatever, that may convince the finder of fact. But that has to be stated at trial. Anything that Lane says outside of trial is hearsay. Oh, but you didn't know that, did you? Because you're fucking stupid, aren't you? You fucking Lane Myers supporters. Like these weird ass things they come up with, like, oh, you got the judge say one call isn't enough. Yeah, no shit. Everybody knows one call isn't enough. It's got to be a pattern. But guess what? As part of a pattern, the phone call is harassment. If there was no pattern, the phone call wouldn't be harassment. But there is a pattern. Ergo, the phone call is harassment, Brandon. You stupid fucking retard. You fucking clown. You fucking ignorant ape. Was it? I heard someone say like, you look like hot dog water in human form, something like that. I don't know what you look like, Brandon, but you sound like hot dog water in human form. And he gets to put on the record, like, dude, you have no idea. So the only reason that record would, in theory, be useful is if the motion or the attempt at plea bargaining was somehow appealable. Like if Lane Myers attempts to appeal the judge's denial of his attempt at plea bargain, then the Court of Appeals could look at the transcript of what was said at the hearing where he attempted to make the plea. Suck a big fat dick, you stupid retard. Oh, like, hold on a second. Hold on a second. How do I ban you? How do I ban you? Is there a way to ban you? How do I ban you? Just because you asked me to be nice, I want to ban you. View your channel. Hold on a second. I'm going to find you. You stupid fucking cunt. All right. Where are you at? Where's the live stream at? I'm just going to put you in timeout for 10 minutes. How about that? There we go. There we go. Be nicer. Lick my ball sack all the way back to the taint. Okay. So who are we dealing with? We were dealing with this retard. Yeah. So literally everything you said shows how completely fucking stupid you are, how ignorant you are, how brainwashed you are, how fucking moronic you are. You get to put it on the record. What does that mean? Explain it. Oh, you can't because you don't know fuck about shit? Jesus. I love the Lane Myers fans. I know. I was actually being very nice. I'm actually not really drunk at this point. I'm mad. All right, let's go back to the video.
Paused and took it some more thought. She goes, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll say that it was a mistake in the process. And then she gave it to her.
A mistake in the process? You know what that sounds like? That sounds like what I was talking about earlier when I said, excusable neglect or mistake or whatever. That sounds like the judge set aside the prior judgment based on excusable mistake, neglect, whatever. So yeah, it's almost like I know what I'm talking about.
And not only did she give it to her in violation of the law, because once you dismiss...
In violation of what law? What law? Just like he's just an assertion machine. Zero evidence, zero proof, just assertions.
You can't reissue it. She then said...
And Nasty Nate, assertions, not insertions. Take your mind out of the gutter.
Said, you can't post any content regarding this person on social media, which is completely against the law, especially in Arizona. We have Article 2, Section 6. Our first...
So you can't post any content about that person on social media. That does sound like it's overbroad. Oh, damn. You got me, concerned citizen. That does sound a bit overbroad. So if the judge said that would be something that you could and should challenge on appeal. The judge can't say you can't post anything about that person. Well, maybe the judge may not be able to make that. I mean, it's something that I would challenge on appeal. I'm not saying that I'd win on it because she's technically not a public official and she's technically not a public figure. But in theory, she could at some point become a public official or public figure. And so if that is the case, then it would be overbroad because then he should be able to report on it, yada, yada. So I would appeal it. I would appeal it as being overbroad. And I'm not saying I'd win, but I'd appeal. If that was actually the order, I would appeal it. Except it's now moot because it went to trial because he filed a motion to have it heard in an evidentiary hearing. And so I don't believe the trial court judge made that order. So I don't think it's relevant. I don't think it's appealable anymore because I think it's moot. But I could be wrong.
First Amendment, but it's not the First Amendment. It's Article 2, Section 6. So like our freedom of speech in Arizona is even stronger than the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. In Arizona, it's the right to write, speak, and publish freely. And it's not, because the First Amendment of the United States Constitution is the government can't intrude on your speech. In Arizona, nobody can. And so it's a big difference.
I didn't know
so
nobody can intrude upon your speech. So how does YouTube operate in Arizona? Because YouTube censors speech. Like YouTube censors comments. YouTube actually censors my comments. Yeah, see, that seems narrowly tailored. That seems like harder to appeal because that's very specific. But if the Arizona constitutional requirements on free speech prohibit non-government entities from censoring speech, then explain how YouTube operates in Arizona because it censors people's speech in Arizona. Facebook censors people's speech in Arizona. So explain that to me. Except Lane Myers just makes assertions. That is true. That is true. I still harbor a great grievance over that.
Yeah, Article 2, Section 6. It has way more protection than just the First Amendment in the state of Arizona, because they took the Constitution even further and said all people may publish, speak, and write freely. It doesn't say the government can.
Well, so again, this sounds like Lane Myers reading into it what he wants to read into it. All people can publish and speak freely, right? What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything until a court interprets it. And I know Lane Myers supporters don't like to hear that, but it literally doesn't mean anything until a court has interpreted it. Because I know there are defamation laws in Arizona. I know this. I've seen them. I've read them. I don't remember what the case was, but they exist. And so if you could publish and speak freely without any caveats, then how do defamation laws exist? Well, I mean, you're gonna have to show me a case where it defines the limits, because I know defamation laws exist. So I know there are limits on non-governmental infringements on speech. So show me the case.
And that's the big thing about the First Amendment is the government. It's the First Amendment. It means that the government can't restrict your speech. It doesn't mean that Walmart can't and shit, right? Well, in Arizona, Article 2, Section 6 applies everywhere. It doesn't apply to just.
So are you suggesting to me, Mr. Myers, that if you decide you want to throw a protest inside a Walmart, that Walmart can't trespass you? I bet they can. So it seems nonsense.
The government. And so that's why this case is even crazier, because we have a state constitution that expressly forbids her, restricting my ability to talk post content on social media about the victim, alleged victim. She's not a victim. I mean, she's a victim of her own stupidity. But
she's a victim. This is another thing that Lane Myers supporters can't fucking wrap their heads around. So, accused means a person who's been arrested for committing a criminal offense and who's being held for an initial appearance or other proceeding before trial. And then you have defendant means a person or entity that is formally charged by complaint, indictment, or information of committing a criminal offense. And a victim means a person against whom the criminal offense has been committed, including a minor, yada, yada, yada. And this applies from the get-go. She is a victim. The question is, did Lane Myers commit a crime and victimize her?
But she's not a victim of any crime by Lane Myers. And so she gets the injunction. And I go home and I show the paper. It's a public document.
So she gets the injunction. Oh, she's not the victim of any crime by Lane Myers. So she gets the injunction. Okay. Well, yeah. So she has an injunction. Couldn't she be the victim in that? She's at least the protected party. I've mentioned him in the last video I did, ham sandwich. And how about you enjoy a timeout? Because I make the videos I want to make and not the videos that you want me to make. She's a victim. She's a victim. I just showed you the list. Show me where there's alleged victim. Yes, I'm a lawyer. Are you a lawyer? Oh, you're not? You fucking idiot.
Anybody can do it. In fact, you can show it and not get in trouble, but if I do, I do. You know, it's weird. And so
again, Lane Myers is missing. Like, it's not just the fact that her contact information is shown. That's not the relevant part. The relevant part is, number one, why it's shown. Number two, the context in which it's shown, and the background information that's been given, and the audience to whom it's being shown. These are all issues that he fails to grasp. He's like, yeah, all I did was just show her contact information. Well, no, that's not all you did. You have to look at the totality of the circumstances. This is the level of intelligence of Lane Meyer supporters. My father worked renting storage spaces. See, he was John Rietveld. I'm John Rietveld II, Edward. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know how old you think I am, bro, but I'm not that old. I'm not my father. Nope. You should just leave, Aaron. You should just leave. You should just leave, Aaron. Here we go. All right. Back to the video.
yeah. She gets this injunction, and I go home and I show the injunction. And I say, look, this is what just got put on me. This isn't legal. They can't do this.
You'd be removed in court for what you are saying, especially in an appellate court. I and you, everyone can read this is happening over and over. It is not, in fact, that she is a victim until Lane loses. Well, so strong dad, the strongest. You might want to pause to consider why every judge is referring to her as a victim. You might want to pause to consider that. I understand it doesn't fit with your narrative. I understand it's not what you want it to be. But you might want to pause to consider that literally everyone other than Lane Myers and Lane Myers supporters are referring to her as a victim because she is the victim. Whether or not Lane is guilty is an entirely different question. Think of it this way. Strong dad, the dumbest. Think of it this way. The police find the body of someone who's been shot. That person is dead. That person is what we like to call a victim. Does that make sense? Like, that person is dead. That person has been shot. That person is the victim. Now, who's the murderer? Who's the murderer? Oh, you don't know. You don't know. Well, neither do I. Neither do the police until they do their investigation. And maybe they figure out, maybe they don't. Maybe it turns out the person died of a heart failure and their dead body was shot afterwards. But until everything is resolved, that person is the victim. It says nothing about who the victimizer is. It says nothing about that. It doesn't say that person is a victim. We don't even know who the killer is. We don't even know if there is a killer. But that person is the victim. And you're never going to be able to wrap your head around it. Look at this. He's still not able to wrap his head around it. He's still not able to wrap his head around it. It's just amazing. Like, I don't even know if I could use smaller words. No, we're talking about a victim. And it's not literally being rewritten. It's fucking hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. Ad populum every time. Yeah, absolutely. I do want the same standard for myself, but I wouldn't be arguing over some stupid shit like, oh, that person's not really the victim. I'd be like, yeah, I'm the defendant. I haven't been proven to be guilty yet. But I'm not even gonna bother arguing over victim, because whether or not the person is a victim says nothing about whether or not I'm guilty.
This. So I made a couple videos about it. All right, well, then that moves into I contest the injunction, and then the next judge says that I can leave the videos up, but I can't make any new ones, which doesn't make sense, because he says the videos are First Amendment, and then he says, well, you can't make new ones. Well, that doesn't make sense. But then I didn't talk about it for months.
Why doesn't it make sense? Why doesn't it make sense? It makes perfect sense to me. You can't make more videos. You can't do further harassment, but the harassment was complete when you did the thing. You did the thing. Yeah, and there's charges. Got another brainiac. Oh boy, there's charges. There's little charges that have been brought. Just like in the murder, the dead body that has a gunshot wound. Yeah, you assume that crime has been committed. You don't even know who may have done it yet, but you see the dead body on the floor with the gunshot wound, and you assume that there's been a crime. That doesn't say anything about who the defendant, the potential defendant is. Yeah, but see, I don't understand how you can't fucking figure this out. I don't understand how you can't figure this out. Like it just boggles me that you're this fucking stupid. I'm trying to use an analogy to help you figure it out. Just don't argue for a second and just listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, Mr. Sims. I'm trying to help you. Okay? So there's a body on the floor with a gunshot wound, right? Everybody's going to refer to that body as the victim. And the assumption is going to be that it's a murder victim. And that body's going to get taken to a coroner who's going to analyze the body to see if that body is actually a murder victim. I haven't said anything about who killed him. It doesn't say, it literally says nothing about even if there is a killer at this point. It's just saying that the court is making an assumption. If you're all right, so you can see that the name for the person who may have committed the crime starts off as accused. It's a person who's been arrested for committing a criminal offense and who's been held for an initial appearance or other proceeding before trial. And then it changes to defendant. And then it changes to prisoner. Do you see that progression, right? That progression. The name changes for the stage that they're in. They haven't been convicted yet. They're either an accused or a defendant. They get convicted, they're now a prisoner, right? It changes. What's the one that doesn't change, though? I'm going to take this off. The one that doesn't change is down there on the bottom. It doesn't change. Do you notice that? Do you notice that? It doesn't change. Isn't that crazy? So from the point where a crime may have been committed, there's a victim. There's a victim. When you get a police report, at least in California, they'll have V1 and V2 or whatever. V1. Who's V1? It's the victim. Oh, no one's been convicted yet. I know, it's a police report. Police report. A dead person has... What the fuck are we doing talking about civil law? What are we talking about civil law for? Strong. Holy Jesus. Holy Jesus. What we have here, folks, is a sovereign citizen. And my buzz is wearing off and it's getting late. And you guys have drained me. I think I'll be able to go to sleep. So I appreciate you. Thank you. Yes, I'm very woke. I'm very woke. I go by Zeezer. What makes a victim a victim? There's a goddamn victim means a person against whom a criminal offense has been committed, including a minor, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Anyway. Well, ad populum arguments. Oh my God. This is law, bro. This is law. This is law. Is quite the echo chamber in here. Okay. Get it out. Get it out. Legal loser. Yeah, get it out. Say what you got to say. No one has the balls to come up here and put their face behind it. Nope. The only proof that's needed is proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, so you need probable cause to charge them. That's proof. Proof evident, presumption great to deny someone bail. That's the second thing you need proof for. The third thing you need proof for is beyond a reasonable doubt. So probable cause, proof evident, presumption great, and beyond a reasonable doubt. But notice the only person that they need proof is the alleged criminal, the accused / defendant / prisoner. So no, there is no proof for victim. The victim isn't on trial. You're completely bass backwards. The person who's on trial is the person who allegedly committed the offense. So no, the victim will never be proven or disproven. Yeah, I mean, that's law, dude. You got to prove stuff. Yeah, no one gives a shit what you want, though. Because you're dumb. Go talk more about ad populum. My balls are ad populum in your ass. I don't know why my balls would be in your ass, but whatever. So 0 legal arguments, and still no one's come up here to show their face. But I'm the one who's scared, right? My entire argument hangs on the original bond hearing where a judge found proof evident. My entire argument is that the prosecution can, with the videos that Lane Myers provided and the testimony of the victim, prove every element of harassment and aggravated harassment. And that Lane Myers, every single argument that he's made has failed. Every argument, including his constitutional arguments, have failed. So he's had no success. Every motion that he's made has failed. I think he got a minor motion. Like he got to represent himself. So I guess that's a success. So credit where credit is due. Lane Myers managed to get his attorney fired and get himself pro se. So congratulations to him. That is the extent of his success. That's the only motion. Well, I guess technically that's 2 motions. Those are the only 2 motions he's had success at. He doesn't understand the law. He doesn't understand the facts. He's arguing the wrong things. He doesn't understand the elements of the crime that he has to argue. So no, I've got a lot of arguments. Oh, page limit was granted. Mea culpa, mea culpa. You're right. There you go. Well, good luck. I welcome it. My California bar number is 320-086. I've been sued by better men than you. I don't know technically if Earl Warden is a better man. Under what statute? Arizona? The Supreme Court already ruled it vague. No, the Arizona criminal harassment statute has been ruled constitutional by the Arizona Court of Appeals. I don't believe it went to the Arizona Supreme Court. Well, I think they petitioned for writ of certiorari to it, but it was denied. So no, you're wrong on that. It never made it to the United States Supreme Court, so you're wrong on that as well. And did I miss the part where you explained the AZ constitutional argument? I don't know specifically what Arizona constitutional argument you're talking about. If you're talking about that Article 2, Section 6, whatever, he needs to show case law. Like, I'm not going to do his research for him. But if all he's saying is that the Constitution says it, and he doesn't actually provide a case that explains it and applies it, then I've already shown that that's stupid, because by his definition, defamation lawsuits would not be available. They would be unconstitutional for the Arizona Constitution, and yet defamation lawsuits exist in Arizona. Ergo, quaterat demonstratum. Is Maddie out? Well, I hope Maddie's out. Or is Maddie still Maddie? Is Maddie still Maddie, or did Maddie revert? You always have choices. Okay. Yeah. It's been they are an unending font of just entertainment for me. And see they, God bless America. You gonna start singing? You want to come up and sing God Bless America? No, I already talked about. So I thought Parvin's argument was interesting. I thought his verbal argument was much better than his written argument. I don't think it actually has merits. I'm sorry. Because again, maybe you missed it, and I'm feeling nice. Why not? The issue is that there was a higher standard of proof, intentional, and a lower standard of proof, knowingly. And it used to be intentional or knowingly, and now it's just knowingly. It's just the lower standard of proof. And if you can hit the lower standard of proof before and still get through the statute and still hit all the elements, then you'd get convicted, right? Well, all they did was take the higher standard of proof away, because all you needed was the lower standard of proof. You only needed the lower standard of proof from the get. So the change to the statute doesn't do anything, which is why the court properly said, no, sorry, your argument doesn't have merit. I agreed with the court. I thought the court's analysis was right. The argument didn't have merit. So sorry. I mean, I would love a good argument. And once again, for all of you Lane Myers idiots, you're all fucking retarded, by the way. You're all completely fucking retarded. all of your arguments are dog shit. You're stupid. You're dumb. I hope you don't reproduce. And that's honestly, I hope you don't reproduce. But I don't have any ill will for you. And I don't have any ill will for Lane Myers. Lane Myers has given me a lot of entertainment, and I appreciate him for it. I don't want Lane Myers to go to prison. I'm just like, I seriously don't. Like, 43 years to me seems shocking. 43, like, when I heard that number, when they did the calculations, because sentencing, I'm not really good on figuring all that sentencing bullshit, and I wasn't going to take the time to look it up. But my fucking God, 43 years for being a retard on YouTube. Really. Just my God, right? Now, the problem is I don't see a way out for him. Like, the statute seems constitutional. They're not random people, dude. Yes, he's responsible. Because again, he set up the context. He has his audience that he's targeting it to, right? Yes. No, the length of time is not an argument that the charges are bullshit. It's I mean, he's got 14 fucking counts, man. Like they stack. But 43 years is shocking. Like, I don't personally, like, this is just John. This isn't like a legal analysis. This isn't a legal analysis, right? And I know retards like Aaron can't figure this fucking shit out. This isn't legal analysis. This is my feels. This is my fifis. Okay? My fifis are 43 years is extreme. Now, I think the actual amount of time he'll get, like, before they take into account any aggravating circumstances, somewhere like 25 or whatever, which is still seems like a lot to me. Like, but the problem is the stupid fucker kept posting videos. He kept posting videos after the harassment order came out. The injunction against harassment, that's what they call it. Like, once you get an injunction against harassment, you actually fucking need to stop. Like, you need to stop. That's what the injunction against harassment is telling you. You need to stop. And his big deal was, like, he didn't stop. I don't know if it was because his audience was egging him on, or he's really that retarded. I mean, he is retarded. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But that was the problem. The problem was he didn't fucking stop. I mean, it bumped him from misdemeanors to felonies. Like, misdemeanors, he could have gotten a bunch of concurrent misdemeanors, you know, and done maybe like a year or something like that, right? So the problem is that once he got the restraining order, the injunction against harassment, he should have fucking stopped. Maybe you should research. I watched the trial. That was his, again, Aaron, you fucking retard. The trial was where Lane needed to make all the arguments that he could make and present the evidence he could present. Anything outside of trial is meritless. The injunction against harassment was resolved at trial. Everything outside of that's meritless. And the trial was, well, the one issue I had with the trial was the use by the court and by the victim of the case law, the non-public, non-citable case law about the criminal harassment restraining orders. So I thought that was an appealable issue, but ignore it more. Like, I watched it, dude. Like, you don't like it that I didn't come to the same conclusion, but I'm giving you, like, I've already done videos on this, you stupid fucking twat. the issue there are appealable issues. There are appealable issues. And the appealable issues were that the court relied on cases, opinions that were A, not citable, and B, dealt with the criminal harassment statute, not the civil harassment statute. Those, he could have appealed on those grounds. He's not getting fucked because I'm not saying he's going to win on that appeal. I'm saying those are appealable grounds. Those are the best grounds for appeal that he had. They're legitimate grounds for appeal. The problem is that the Court of Appeals is going to look and say, well, okay, is their law sufficient to justify the decision that the trial court made? Period. Not what did the trial court use, but are there legal grounds for the decision the trial court made? And the Court of Appeals will say, yes, there are legitimate grounds for it. There are legitimate legal grounds for it. And so they're going to deny the appeal. They're going to deny the appeal. He's going to lose on it. It's good grounds. It's the best grounds he has, but they're going to deny the appeal. Just like Earl Warden has good grounds for appealing his conviction. He has great ground. He has actually better grounds than Lane has. Way better grounds. But he's going to lose. Because odds are he's going to lose. Best case he had to prevail on his appeal before his motion for rehearing. The best case he had for a win, I would have given him about a 20% chance of success. Lane Myers, I gave him about a 5% chance of success. If he has a lawyer write his appeal, on the injunction, he has about a 5% chance of success. And here's some more bad news. The appeal, even if he wins on his appeal and gets the injunction against harassment voided, which I doubt he will. I mean, even if he prevails, I think best case for him, if he prevails, is it'll get remanded down for a judgment consistent with the ruling. But let's just say he actually wins on appeal and they vacate the trial court's opinion, right? Would that make the criminal trial go away? No, it wouldn't, because what he did meets the definition of the criminal harassment statute. Well, the next question you have is, would it make the aggravated charges, the aggravated harassment, go away? No. Why? Because he did it while there was a restraining order in effect. The restraining order hasn't been stayed pending appeal. So he's literally all sorts of fucked. He's still, even if he wins his appeal on the civil injunction against harassment, even if he wins, doesn't change shit about the criminal trial. Being opposed to bad actors? Can you answer the last question? Being opposed to bad actors. He wasn't charged with making threats. I don't know what you're talking about. He was charged with harassment, not threats. So there you go. I've answered your question. Still, not a single one of Lane Myers' supporters wants to put their face behind their stupidity. They all want to hide in the fucking comment sections, slink around like rats. But I'm the one who's scared and running, right? I really do need to go to bed, though. It's like 11 o'clock. All right. So on that note, thanks for watching. Have a great evening. And sorry that we could only get through about 10 minutes of the phone call. Have a great night.